I'm ready to practice counting in pictures. So I really like these also because, again, it's real world context. And in this case, we're actually going to have some exposure to some art, which I think is always a good plan. But it is, in this case, let's see, how many pairs are there? I see a pair of pairs. Huh? A pair of pairs. Yeah, I know. Boo, unsubscribe, unfollow, ban. How many people do you see? I see 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Assuming that on the bottom is a person, it looks kind of like a nightmare marionette to me. But that's just me. 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be 3, though. How many cars do you see? I see 4 cars. And actually, I gotta give props to the count from Sesame Street because I had no idea that it was possible to make counting fun for little kids, but literally all you have to do is get super excited about it and go at the end, and little kids freak out, and it's great. So we've got 4 cars. Chat is doing its absolute best to distract me, and it's working a little bit, but I'm keeping my eye on it. Cheesy's head is about to explode. Don't worry, I got you. You and me, together, we will get this. I promise. Here's a flamingo. How many of them are there? I see 1, 2, 3, 4 flamingos. Flamingos, by the way, are the weirdest looking things. I've seen them up close. I went to like a big indoor beach kind of area, and they had actual flamingos in there. They are so weird looking. How many buttons are on the front of the coat? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buttons on the front of the coat. There is a button or a cufflink over here and over here, but I don't think those count. Besides, 10 is not a possible answer. How many pieces of fruit do you see? 1, 2, 3... Assuming that's a lime. I don't know, though. It doesn't really look like a lime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I guess I can tell what it's supposed to be, but it just looks like a gray splotch, or a green splotch. I know colors. Okay, so that's 5. How many wheels do you see? Now, I really like this one, too, because you can... Here, let me back up a little bit so we can see the whole picture. I really like this one because there are 2 ways you can do it. You can just count every single wheel one at a time, or you can count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, and 16. So I see 16 wheels. Okay, let's do some more counting. And again, in my estimation, Khan Academy is great, but I wouldn't necessarily put a kid in front of Khan Academy. I would instead just, ask them to bring me some things, some number of things. Kids love helping out around the house, even though they usually make a mess of it. You can incorporate numbers in that way. How many chicks do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 chicks. How long is it going to take for that joke to get old? How many raccoons do you see? I see, starting from the top. Now, with circles, it can actually be tough. This is actually a really good example because counting something in a circle can often be tough because you can often forget where you started. So we're going to start with this top raccoon and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 9 raccoons. How many flowers do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as you can see, we've got some worms in here. And that is, again, one of the standards that we saw earlier on, where it said that you would need a pile of disparate things, different things, and be able to identify and count things within that group. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 7. Moving on. How many apples do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Really quick, just to let you know how I did this, I looked at there are 2 separate groups of apples there. that I kind of kept track of. Because again, it can be really difficult to keep track of what you have and have not already counted. I saw that there were two groups here, and each one had 5 in it, so that's 10. Encourage your kids to express how they are taking apart and putting numbers back together, because the more comfortable they are talking about numbers and the patterns between them, the easier of a time they'll have later when we start really formalizing this in algebra and beyond. How many acorns do you see? I see 4 acorns. It'll get to the point where you can look at a group without actually consciously counting it and know what its cardinality is. But again, you have to have empathy for the folks who have not had that practice yet. How many monkeys do you see? Wow, there's a bunch of stuff, but only 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are monkeys. How many ladybugs do you see? Now, this would be the time for me to make my first big mistake, but let's see if I can avoid it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I see 8. Awesome. No mistakes yet, but they are coming and they will happen. Okay, so that gets us through counting small numbers, numbers 0 to 100, and counting objects. Now, one of the things that Khan Academy does that I really like is they pause every few topics to do a quick quiz. And what the quiz is going to do is it is going to go back and just review some of the problems that we already did in past topics. This is very, very important because knowing how to do something right now doesn't mean you're going to remember how to do it later. Just ask me about dealing with chroma keys and green screens. So many times I've had to go to the same YouTube tutorial over and over and over again because I did the thing I needed to do and then I forgot the information. This is why taking notes is not good enough by itself. You have to go back and look at those notes later. But again, we're talking kindergarten. Kindergartners aren't going to be taking notes. So let's move on. Type in the missing numbers. 7 is missing, 11 is missing. How many seals are there? Aw, 1, 2, 3. Put 6 mice in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mices. There were 3 foxes. 1 fox ran away. Aw. How many foxes are left? 2. And again, this comes from the 1 more or 1 less topic. Which 10 frames show 30 circles? So again, if you didn't know what 10 frames were, this would not make any sense at all. But you could sort of figure out probably, and if you needed to, you could always count each little circle individually if you really had to. But the whole point of this is that there are 3 groups of 10 for 30. How many feet does the tiger have? 1, 2, 3. I see 4 feet. Looks like the number that's missing is between 71 and 73, so that would be 72. How do we count the acorns? This is a nice easy one. 1, 2. And how many ice cream cones do you see? And again, because they are in a circle, I will remember that I'm starting from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 10 ice cream cones. And quiz 1 is done. Okay, we got 100% on that. We are almost done. We've got comparing small numbers, teens, another quiz, and the unit test. So, moving on.